On what date did the Minister first become aware of allegations?
Was the Minister's Chief of Staff a person who had previously worked for the Prime Minister?
When was the Prime Minister's office informed?
On what
and
basis
how?
was the Prime Minister's principal private secretary involved?
The initial shock of the allegation that a rape had been perpetrated on a couch in the office of a federal minister in Parliament House 2 years ago has given way to the forensic pursuit of who knew what and when, and particularly what did the Prime Minister's office know.
I find it incredible, that's to say very, very, very hard to believe that the Prime Minister's office would not have been aware of that incident as soon as it occurred.
But there's a bigger picture here about culture and what people know, and how quite a lot of people knew what had happened, but no one said anything. People talk in politics a lot. So there's always lots of gossip and information exchange, which is why it is hard for people, including the former Prime Minister, to believe no one knew about this incident. But in the case of the young staffer who was allegedly raped, Brittany Higgins, very few people from the government seemed to want to talk to her, except on a few key occasions. Let's focus on a few specific episodes tonight. The first, the immediate aftermath of alleged events in Senator Reynolds' office on the night of Friday, March 22, 2019.
He was terminated for a security breach.
There have been increasing questions about why the alleged perpetrator of the incident was dismissed for a, quote, security breach. It is hardly unusual for ministers' staff to come and go from their office at all hours, sometimes late at night, sometimes inebriated. So what was it about this episode that made it a security breach that would lead to the staffer in question being sacked? There has not been an answer to this question to date. The second episode in May 2019 reflects the increasing background noise surrounding bullying, sexual harassment and misconduct in politics. 7:30 can reveal that articles reporting on alleged bullying in another ministerial office prompted Brittany to have the following text exchange with another staffer.
Kind of shitty. I'm not sure why, but I just feel super angry at the moment. It's probably misdirected and should be aimed at but I feel so pissed at the people in the party.
I get that completely. Anything I can do?
No, not really. It's just beyond shitty hearing Linda offering this obviously horrible staffer all this support in the wake of the story, and I'm like, I was literally assaulted in your office and I collectively maybe took 4 days off, was offered jack shit in terms of help.
A few months later, in July 2019, a story appeared reporting allegations of aggressive sexual assault by 2 Liberal staffers, amid increasing frustration that 3 separate reviews into the party's culture were making slow progress. Seeing the story, Brittany Higgins texted a friend.
Having to be part of these conversations where people are demonising these girls, I just know how they feel and haven't had anyone do any follow-up from the party since my incident, so I get where they're coming from.
In October 2019, 7 months after the alleged assault took place, the Canberra Times contacted Linda Reynolds' office about an incident on Capitol Hill, that is, Parliament House, back in March 2019. According to the ACT Police website, the only offence investigated in that period on Capitol Hill, other than traffic offences, was one, quote, non-family and domestic violence assault. According to Brittany Higgins, the Canberra Times inquiry sparked a flurry of conversations between Reynolds' office and the office of her new ministerial boss, Michaelia Cash. Higgins says this resulted in her telling Cash and Cash's Chief of Staff what allegedly happened, but Cash disputes this.
In October 2019, a journalist made a media inquiry that involved Brittany and her previous employment. When Brittany discussed this matter with my Chief of Staff and I, she made it very clear that the matter had been dealt with at the time 7 months previously. She did not want to discuss the matter, and she did not want the matter taken any further.
3 days after the call from the Canberra Times, Minister Cash was due to appear at an estimates hearing. The AFP has confirmed to 7:30 that it prepared a briefing for the AFP Commissioner so he could answer questions about the alleged incident. But Michaelia Cash absented herself and was instead represented by Maurice Payne, while she paid a visit to the Master Builders Association. Cash maintains she was not aware the matter was an alleged sexual assault until earlier this month. The The government took a very different approach to scrutiny in November last year, hours before a Four Corners program documenting other allegations of a toxic culture in federal politics was due to go to air. Coalition senators launched a surgical attack on the ABC's managing director, David Anderson, over the program. The question has to be, if the government was concerned enough about the contents of the program to take such an aggressive position against the program and the national broadcaster, how could it be that no one asked whether there were any other incidents that, at the very least, might point to a political problem, let alone the duty of care owed to a staffer? The government is conducting 2 reviews about culture and process, including one by the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, to advise on how to establish an external complaints handling process that will allow women to make complaints at arm's length. Sex Discrimination Commissioner Kate Jenkins is providing advice to the review based on her report last year.
A lot of my recommendations to employers is to really encourage them to start thinking about prevention rather than waiting or assuming that they don't have a problem until they get a complaint.
In a new statement this afternoon, Brittany Higgins expressed her dismay that she was only finding out new details of her own alleged assault now, and said the Prime Minister was using victim-blaming rhetoric.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.